Greetings, you are listening to The Heartful Technologist. I am CK Hicks, and I was musing earlier about collecting hardware bits, collecting stuff, the equipment that we acquire as part of a technology trade, whatever trade you're in, whatever flavor of it. You might be a photographer, you might be a programmer, who knows? All those different things, or maybe you're a combination. You're like me, you're a combination of those different activities and those trades, and they all come with gear. You have to have some form of hardware, even though the layer between hardware and software is changing in our lifetime, and it's a fascinating change to figure out, where do you need more hardware, or where can you make up for it with software? Where can you use cloud computing and just a light terminal? All these different concepts that we have, and I'm sure there's more I'm not even listing. They all impact the way that we interact and interface with the work. It's the work behind the work oftentimes. And so sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the hardware, in the chase, in the acquisition, the curation, the selection, all the different, comparisons between different things that we can use to do our work. And I was looking at some bins in our craft room. So if you don't know, I have 3 young children. They range from 2 to 7, and it predictably so. I think, as you see them go through different phases of life, you see the curation of their hardware, their bits, the stuff that they collect, whether it be things that they make or things they find outside or wherever. Those collections take different shapes over time, and some of them are complex. Some of them are things that are sentimental. Some of them are purely utilitarian. They have this one thing they love to use for this one activity, and it goes in their little bin, and they have these little Sterilite things that we got for them. And it's fun to watch that collection grow and change over time. And it's especially, I think, enlightening, at least for me, to see that the simplicity of those at the younger ages. So the 2-year-old, he came and lent me something from his bin about a week ago. Kind of forgot it was on my desk. I went to put it back in his bin, and I looked and I thought, man, his world is so simple. He just has these very simple things that he knows are his. He knows where they go. He knows where to find them. And he's fine to share them and dole them out, and loan them to siblings or parents or whatever. And yet, these are like his special little things. This is his kit. This is the stuff that he enjoys having and using. And it's so remarkably simple at this phase of life. And it just really occurred, I don't know, it struck a chord with me as I've got B&H boxes sitting here yet to open, and I've got shelves of camera lenses and all these different things, and a powerful computer I'm recording this on right now. And I'm amazed and humbled in a way by the simplicity of a childlike perspective on hardware, on tools, on collectibles, on things that we use to do work. And I love that at those ages, even though, yes, they're very different things, they're not accountable to outside parties who are, auditing their process and making sure that it's a certain output, and they don't have to deal with different situations and circumstances that would, alter the way they would use the tools and all this stuff. But it is just kind of an interesting study to look at, in this case, my offspring, who are taking after me in some respect, but they're learning how to interact with the world and how to, have things that they like or want to use or maintain, but they're doing it based on a very, very simple understanding of the world. A friend of ours is always saying that children are not dumb, they're just empty. Right? They haven't been filled up with other stuff yet. And as I look at my own life and I look at my own curation of things within technology, and I look at the tools and the swings I'll go through where I'll have tons of gear, and then I'll want to sell it all, and then I'll want to switch systems, and then I'll just have figured something out, and I'll be like, now I feel too locked in. I want to switch again. I could go through all these different transitions, and at the end of it, It's really just about having a good tool to do the work, to appreciate, to find a way to interact with a concept or with something in the world and turn it into something else. And I think that we could all learn. I know I can learn from my own children in this, but I think we could all learn from the simplicity of a childlike perspective on gear and on the amount of thing and structure we need to get work done, to really focus in, to really close in on the core set of tools that we need, even if they're evolving, even if they change over time and as technology increases and all that. And I'm all for that. I love it. But that's not where the work is. Now, if you're just really into gear, you just love cameras, in my case, I have a rack here of lenses, then that's great. And it's fine. But don't let the gear take over the output that drove you to want to collect that gear. So the reason you got into whatever it is that you're doing now, and the reason that you're curating or holding on to whatever it is that you have, even if it's very minimal, even if you are like the best minimalist in the world and you only have the absolute essential stuff, so maybe you're an essentialist, even better, then I think the heartful approach to this kind of technology-driven universe that we live in right now is to have that childlike perspective, to focus on the tools or the pieces of kit that bring us closer to the work and facilitate work being done. And then, yes, do it, find something that makes it a delight to use if possible. But then be willing to loan it to somebody or be willing to trade it out because, the little paper product that you were using just got wet and deteriorated or whatever. And, just be willing to to hold loosely all of these different pieces that are too easily an end of their own. And I think that the gear should be, I'm speaking to myself and trying to teach myself, gear is a means to an end. It's a part of the process and it is important, but I think we could learn a lot from the way that kids acquire things that they enjoy and things that they want to collect. And I strive to be more like them as I constantly cycle through different seasons of work and different combinations of kit to get my work done. And I just want to have that simple perspective. And I think that that's a great reminder for all of us in whatever season of life that you're in. So thank you for hanging out, for listening, for me getting sentimental about, what my children put on my desk. And I don't normally bring them into the conversation, but it's something that I feel like is a instructive thing for all of us, whether you have children or not, whether that resonates with you or not. Hopefully, it can help you look at the way you do things a little bit differently. So thank you for your time and your attention, and thanks for listening.